All right. I can see here, Madison, that you wanted me to make video as I grade if possible, and it is possible this time, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. So let's jump into it. Now, I'll tell you, normally I like to read through these first questions, these hypothesis questions, and read what you have to say. And sometimes there's some good learning moments in your answers. But to be honest, since this was submitted I guess Saturday. So it was over the weekend, and it's now Monday. So my priority is just to get these graded as quickly as possible. So honestly, I'm just skimming over this right now. This looks like you wrote something. And again, I'm just glancing through those to make sure that you wrote something and they look uh, relevant. I can see here too, you have some extra credit because you did Boston, Phoenix. Okay. I think we use satellite image to help measure the AQI. All right. Well, first of all, let's do you +2 extra credit right there. Here, well, you missed a point because, as it says here, right, your answer should have nothing to do with AQI, but you talked about measuring the AQI, so that's correct. So you look up something else, like maybe are there other ways? I mean, surely there's other measurements to quantify the amount of air pollution, right? Or you could look at things like there's certain plants that are really sensitive to air pollution. So, you could look to see if those plants are growing in certain places. But anyway, so on and so forth. So that's -1. Let's move forward here. You missed a point here. Now, this is, I know it's small, but it's actually pretty important because the AQI changes like the weather. So all these things that you have written here were correct. Well, assuming presumably they were correct, as long as you didn't mess anything up for that exact moment. Now, if you were to check it today, you'd probably get different numbers. So that's why you need to include your date. I have no way now of going back and seeing if your data is correct or not, but whatever. We'll just, you lost your point for that, and we'll just take your word for the rest of it. Now, really quickly, I'm going to look for my own help here. I'm going to write down all the locations that were better than yours and refer back to that, right? So 23 where you are. So let me look for the places that were better. There we go. I'm going to write this down for me. Anchorage, abbreviation's fine. Because Anchorage had a 17. Okay, there we go. Boston had a 22. And that's it, right? So those are the two locations that were better than your location. All right, and I see here you wrote, I had to look up AQI for similar Purdue users. So good job. Very good. I know I'm going to also give you extra credit for that. Even though you are expected to find a different location, I like the fact that you took some initiative and found another way to do it, and the fact that you also included the link so I could look it up myself. So good job. Extra credit there. Anyway, let's keep moving. Now, again, I'm in a rush to get this graded because it's Monday, and I would normally like to give a closer look at things. But in this case, I'm just going to glance over it and make sure that you did at least address your hypothesis, and it looks like you did. You addressed your hypothesis in each one of them. Now, what I don't have the time to do is go back and look to see what your hypothesis was for Myrtle Beach and for North NYC and all that, right? And so this, I have to admit, I'm not going to look back this time. But anyway, let's see. So again, I know the only places with better air quality were Anchorage and Boston. So let's just look at this really quick. Air quality better in Sissonville. Good. Better in Sissonville than North Carolina. New York City. Better in Sissonville than Miami. Better in Sissonville than Seattle. Better in Sissonville than Yellowstone. Better than San Juan. Better than DC. Anchorage is better than Sissonville. Good. Sissonville better than Dallas. Good. Better than Denver. Good. Boston is better. Good. Also, extra credit because you didn't have to do Boston. Phoenix, again, extra credit for that. And then also, again, better in Phoenix. So that's 2 more points of extra credit. Whoops. Excuse me. There we go. 2 more points of extra credit. Anchorage had the best not Yellowstone. Oh, so you missed a point there because we needed to know what was it. Now then, it's a good time for me to remind you. I know that seems redundant because I can look back at the table and see what it was. Same here. But this is just trying to get you in the habit of really reflecting back on your hypotheses and your data. And obviously the most important thing, I don't know if I want to say one of the most important things is being able to compare your data to your hypothesis and see what's correct or not, which you did. But another thing is to be able to pick out like the superlatives, like in this case, which place had the best, which place had the worst, what was it, right? So you lost 2 points for that. So here we go, -3. Your graph's a little hard to read, and you're not going to lose any points for that. But in the future, if you could somehow make it bigger and not include all the rest of this stuff, but you did lose 1 point because for the same reason earlier. Yeah, it's the AQI, but for what time, what date? Because like I said, the AQI changes regularly, so that would be an important bit of information. So I lost 1, but only 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 out of 4 points. So it's still a good graph. Anyway, save it as a file, a PDF before you upload it. You did. I'm gonna see if you have any extra credit feedback here. No, nothing there, nothing there. All right, so there we go. So normally this is out of 33 points. However, you have 5 points of extra credit. So 33 plus 5. I mean, I know 33 plus 5, but I just want to show you the math. So we're doing it out of 38 points. So -4, right? So you missed 4. So again, I know the math, but let's just do it to show you. 38 minus 4. So we're at 34. You have 34 points out of a possible 38. So divide that by 38. That means you got 89% correct. Multiply that by 25 points, which is what a lab is worth. And we have 22.37. 22.37. Delete this, and as soon as the video is ready, I'm going to include the link and put it right here. Of course, you already know that if you're watching this video, because that means you clicked the link. So anyway, that's that. Let me know if you have any other questions.